So, welcome everyone to our soft launch episode of the All Are Called podcast. And so we are so excited about this podcast launching. We want to just use this opportunity to introduce ourselves to you and introduce All Are Called to you. And so my name is Etienne. I am 37 years old. I grew up in Centurion here in South Africa. I lived abroad for about 14 years, and now I'm back in South Africa and feel that God has a different plan for me here in the country. And so I have some co-presenters here with me today, and so I want them to take some time to just introduce themselves to you as well. And so, a first co presenter that I'd love to introduce himself to you is Morgan.
Hello, listeners, everybody that's tuned in. I am Morgan Jacobs, as Etienne mentioned. I'm originally from Cape Town, but I now reside in Johannesburg. It's been a while, loving it there, finding my feet, or have found my feet already. I'm officially a Joburg boykie, as they would say. I'm really excited about the podcast as well, as I'm sure many of us are, or at least my co-presenters are, and those who know what's coming and who is coming. But it's for us to speak about, to just chat about our faith, how our identity clashes with faith. It's just to have open and honest conversations with one another and also to hear from all of you. And we're excited to get into that space and to get you involved as well. But I think we'll delve a bit deeper into what it is we do, what it is we will be getting up to, what it is we will be chatting about, and of course, including you too. But yeah, I think that's all from me for now.
Okay, thank you very much, Morgan. Next, I'm going to ask Nomzamu if you can please introduce yourself to us.
Absolutely. As Etienne mentioned, hello everybody. I'm Nomzamo. Probably the baby of the group. So I'm 26, turning 27. And yeah, I'm just excited about this podcast. I hope this podcast just answers all the questions that a lot of people ask, about LGBTQ, being part of the LGBTQ community, and also just being committed to your faith. Yes, both are possible. Yeah, I'm excited about this podcast and I'm excited for all the listeners to hear it as much as I'm excited to be a part of it. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you very much, Nomzamu. And our last co-presenter is Durain. Durain, please introduce yourself to our listeners.
Good evening, listeners, and everyone watching us today and listening to us. My name is Lorraine. I'm 32, all the way from the Eastern Cape, currently also based in Johannesburg. I'm so excited for the podcast as we will really just be joining and reconnecting with all and everyone that are currently feeling and looking for a place, a Christian-based LGBTQ podcast where they can be felt, heard, and seen. And yeah, I'm really excited with my co-host as we're about to spill and share some light on topics that are not discussed in the public, and also just create a safe haven, no discrimination, where you can just be you. So tune in and don't forget to always be on the A game because we're going to discuss some hot topics soon. Looking forward to meeting you all and interact with you on our socials as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Durain. Thank you to Morgan and Nomzamu as well for introducing yourselves. And it's awesome to have you guys as co-presenters of this podcast. And so the purpose of today's episode is just for us to introduce ourselves and introduce All Are Called to our listeners. All Are Called has been running for the last year, and we've been growing as a ministry quite a bit. We are Christian LGBTQ community that serve the LGBTQ community who still has a desire to grow spiritually, have a relationship with God, and understand that their faith and their identity can coexist. And so that very much is our purpose and our message with this podcast. Tonight, we also just want to share a little bit of our personal stories and how our journey of how we reconciled our faith and our sexuality, because each of us have had to walk a journey. And so I'm going to ask each of my co-presenters just to share a little bit about their journey and the lessons that they have learned through their experience and through wrestling with these tough questions. And so I'm going to ask Morgan, can I ask you to just share with us a little bit about your journey and how it came about, how you reconciled your faith and your sexuality?
Thanks, Etienne. I think to the listeners out there, we all come from different walks of life, and we all experience things differently. And my case, I wouldn't say it's a unique one, maybe, but I didn't necessarily have to struggle with my faith and my sexuality. I come from a community and from a family where I was very accepted. I come from a community where I'm Catholic, born and raised Catholic. So I was very actively involved in the church from childhood, from being an altar server to being the youngest member of the on the West Coast Deanery. I got ordained as a Eucharistic minister. I was very, very active in church. I was on the church finance committee. I was running another committee in the church as well, on the board. So my journey, or my testimony, if I can put it that way, when it comes to being gay and in accepting my faith, whether it's my identity and with Christ, being in my religious space, I can't say that I do have a tough story or a tough journey to. I can't say that I did struggle, but it raises questions when it comes to other faiths, to other cultures, to other religions. For me, being gay and being Christian, you are human. You are human. The Bible preaches, teaches love, and we should all love one another. We should all accept one another, no matter age, race, color, whatever you want to call it. And that's a space that I come from. So hearing stories from my co-presenters as well, and I'm sure many of you out there, having the stories that you do have, for me, it will be more a question of, but hold on a minute. Maybe I bring another perspective in asking questions that others out there might not have thought of, or that others out there probably are thinking but don't know ask it, because in how sensitive the church can be when bringing up questions on certain topics. So yeah, my story is a non-existent one of struggling with religion and faith, but rather one of loving and acceptance, not just for myself, but for God, but for the community I come from, for Christ, for everything that He has done in my life, and the tough lessons I had to learn, but always putting my faith in Him and putting Him first. So that's the point of view, or the direction I'm coming from, at least. So yeah, I think that's all from me, Etienne, with regards to that.
That is wonderful, Morgan. And it is really wonderful to hear that your story was not a story of rejection, but a story of love and acceptance. And I really am looking forward to a future where that is the norm. The norm is a story of love and acceptance, and where that is not often seen as the exception. Let us hear from one of our other co-presenters. Nonzamo, can I ask you to please share your experience, your journey with us?
Absolutely. Like Morgan said, my experience was not a negative one. I also come from a positive background. I come from a church that's very accepting and very warm and welcoming. My church, besides having gay people, bi people, lesbian people, we also had transgender people in our community, our church as well. And so everyone was just treated with love and kindness and welcoming. Like my church was just a big, huge family, and we loved each other. Yeah, all the same. And so there was never any judgment or anything from the church I come from. Yeah, so like Morgan said, I can't say that I'm having a negative experience. I had a rather positive experience. But yeah, I guess unfortunately not a lot of people can have that experience. And like you said, Etienne, just in the future, we can just hope, excuse me, that a lot of people do have that experience one day. Just like coming out is not a thing of like importance, like you are who you are and people just accept you for that. Not you don't need to essentially come out And yeah, you just get to be who you want to be, and you just get to be who you are, and that's all God really wants, you know, your true and authentic self. And yeah, I guess I've just had the privilege to do and be that person. So yeah, that's my experience.
Wonderful, Nonzamu. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Appreciate it. Durain, tell us a little bit about your journey.
I think my journey at the end is quite different compared to my co-host. I think mine was more of a little bit of a gravel road, if I can call it that, a little bit of hardship. To just sum it up a little bit, I also grew up in a Christian home, being from the NG Kerk, the Dutch Reformed Church. It's a little bit tough when you grow up in that environment. You know, in also the community where I grew up was very small, so people didn't always understand, although there was queer people, we were bullied and all those kind of things. And I think for me personally, I made a decision that I will only got out of the closet, or if that's the word I can use, in 2012 when I finally have a job. I have been hiding my identity and living two lives, and fight and wrestle with the Lord. And you know how it goes when you grow up and they tell you about Leviticus that if you're gay and if you're queer, you're gonna go to hell. So I had that thing playing in my mind, and I was also bullied a lot. And I made the statement to say that I will hide my identity until I get my own place and be able to survive. And then I got out in 2012, and I realized, you know what? God is loving and God loves you who you are. I got out, informed my family. Yes, it was a little bit of a tricky road, was not always accepted. It was not how I expected it, but it got all around eventually. I struggled a lot with faith in my identity and, church rejection as I grew up, like as I like now in the senior phases, I call that, where you go to church and people are like, it's not, you don't belong here, and you're not acceptance here, and you go to hell and you need to change, and that kind of things that it's just a phase that you're in and you will change, and it's just demons and all those kind of things. Like, well, we are not demons, and I mean, Jesus loves us all, so we can just live us freely. And then I found all I called like a year ago, because I struggled a lot with my faith and my identity. I'm not gonna lie. And all I call change that whole perspective. I seen the Bible differently. I felt a sense of belonging, that you can be queer and you can be Christian at the same hand. And the Bible is not always a weapon against us. And God loved us and God created us in his own image. And we are all differently made in his image. And I believe we are put in our families for a reason, and we are the special ones. And somehow, for those that are struggling currently and are having sad stories like mine, your family will come around, and that's why we are here, to create and share that beacon of hope, that beacon of joy, and to say, you know what, it's actually nice to be Christian and to be gay at the same time, and you can go to churches, like affirming churches these days, where you can live your faith freely. And yeah, I think all I called helped me finding my faith and my identity, and just living with the Lord. And also just my relationship with my family currently, with my mom and everyone, is just so accepting. Yes, my mom did, like, there was a little bit of a rocky situation, but now we can freely talk about the husbands and the this and the that, all the things that we don't discuss in the public. But yeah, I'm looking forward as well to go deeper into the topic when we get that opportunity.
Thank you, Durain. Yeah, thank you for sharing your story and your experience with us as well. And so, yeah, we all just have very, very different life experiences. Durain had described his journey as like a gravel road. I feel like my journey was smooth sailing until it went off a cliff and everything crashed and burned. I grew up in very, very Christian family. And so where Durain was Dutch Reformed, I was just Reformed, which is very conservative denomination. And we were pretty much taught from a very young age that all gay people go to hell. There was no way for you to even question that. And you just had to believe that, and that was it. And so when I started to discover my sexuality, I knew I was gay from the very moment that I went into puberty. It's like I was never curious about the female body. It was male body from the very beginning. That's what I was curious about. And yeah, it was tough, because I knew that this would not be accepted in my family, in the church, all around. And so I did everything to hide it. I prayed to God for hours on end that he would take this away, that he would take this thorn in my flesh away. And it was very, very hard for me to accept myself as I was. I always had this internal struggle and thought that there is something wrong with me. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to pray, how to fast anymore, because I've just tried absolutely everything. And it was something that I felt like I couldn't mention to anyone because they simply wouldn't understand and they would reject me for it. I think as young as primary school, I walked around with a secret inside of my heart. And after I finished school, I went to Bible college. And this idea of homosexuality being a sin and it's sending you straight to hell was even reinforced. And so I was just brainwashed in this way that I couldn't see anything outside of I need to somehow change. I need to somehow become straight to be accepted by God. And yeah, unfortunately, I lived with the secret all the way until into my 30s. And it was only into my 30s that I could get to a place where I could say, you know what? This is not going to change. I've prayed hours on end for this to change, and it simply isn't changing. And I'm going to have to come to terms with this is what it is. And so if God isn't changing my sexuality, then I need to find a new way to reconcile my faith and sexuality. And it took me about a period of about 2 years of doing like intense research, reading the Bible, reading different translations, reading different books, listening to podcasts, and just exploring all different avenues of what does it look like to be Christian and gay. And so it was a real battle. Whenever I heard of someone that I could question about this, I talked to them, I spoke to them, I asked my questions. Fortunately, with some US connections, I was able to join other communities that were also gay and Christian. All of these, all of the resources that I could find, I tried to explore. I tried to make the most of all information that I could find, delving as deep as I could, until I finally got to the place where I could reconcile my faith and sexuality. I understood that the Bible doesn't speak against homosexuality, and I understood the theology behind it. I understood the wrong translations that had taken place within the Bible, and it's like a burden was just like lifted off my shoulders, and like I can just be the person that God created me to be, and I can love the person that God has brought into my life to love, even though it might not line up with what the society I grew up in expected of me. And so it was just a wonderful feeling. And so I do really think that that's the heart behind All Are Called, is to provide resources and a way for young people who are struggling to reconcile their faith and their sexuality, to reconcile these things so that they might have peace within their hearts and feel at peace with God. So that was all of our stories. Thank you so much for sharing your journeys with us. I do want to throw a question out there for the group. And so we have had this organization called All Are Called that we've all been part of, some of us for about a year almost. And so I want to hear from you guys. What is All Are Called? Why did you join this organization? Why are you part of All Are Called? Morgan, do you want to go?
Yeah, I want to go. Well, everyone listening out there, I was just forced into this organization. As you know, it's just one of those things. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I think, as Etienne said, Etienne mentioned something when he was sharing his story, that this is why the organization is there, and that's why All Are Called is here to help others. And I think that's why I'm part of the organization. All Are Called has been birthed from a good place and from a good heart, and for a good reason as well, as using, and I know it was Etienne's baby, and giving birth to something this big. And I say this big because it's an organization that will face a lot of ups and downs. It's an organization that will be looked down upon. It's an organization that will get constant hate mail. People might not like us because of the work that we are doing, but I think it's important that we try to at least spread some love, spread love in a sense of telling people or sharing stories and allowing people the safe space to share their stories and to come together and actually fellowship. It's like Etienne keeps saying, it's not a church, but when we get together, we're still in the presence of God. We can help you integrate back into your churches, integrate into any religious community that you might feel has rejected you, or you are currently feeling rejected and you don't want to go. There's some of you out there, I know you've been hurt by the church and you don't believe in God anymore. You don't this, you don't that, but He is the one who made everything possible thus far for you. He is the one that helped carry you through to this point where you are today. And maybe sometimes someone just needs, or you out there just needs some reaffirming, just needs another nudge again. Like, hold on a minute. If you sit and think quietly about things, if you actually ask yourself this or that question, and I think that's why we are here as well, to ask those questions, to have those conversations, to make all of us think about certain things. But yeah, I've joined All Are Called because it's an organization that's genuinely interested in helping people, caring for people, and people's well-being, people's religious backgrounds, people's affirmations, whatever you want to call it. That's what All Are Called is there for. And I think the name says it all. All are called. Doesn't matter what ratio, doesn't matter what you feel your sexuality is, doesn't matter what you feel you identify as. All Are Called is there for everyone and it's a safe home for everyone. Thanks, Etienne. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you for your input. Lorraine?
I think personally for me as well, I was looking for a home, a place where I could feel like safe, a place where there's no discrimination, no hate, a place that I can just love and be who I am. And I've been like looking for home in a place, and I came across this organization on Facebook when we were still in our early days before they actually started the WhatsApp groups. And I'm like, wow, yes, I want to be part of organization where you can be whole, you can be you, no discrimination, no hate, and you can just love your purpose, your given God's purpose. And I joined that, and currently I just find it like it's a home. To describe All I Called in one word, it's whole. You don't have to feel judged, no discrimination. You as a queer, as an LGBTQ person, you can feel safe. You can be heard. You can be heard. Your cry can be heard. Some of us, and I think some of you listening today, are going through so much in life, and there's not often spaces where you can be heard or be seen. And here are All I Called, and All I Called is saying, come, we are here to listen to, we are here to give you that shoulder. And it's just so amazingly to also see how All I Called have helped me to find my faith and my identity, and week by week how I grew. And I said, I want to be that gap between those people that are on the ground, that are struggling, and I want to be a voice, and I want to help those. I want to be a shoulder for that brother, for that sister, and say, come, you're not alone. Come, there's nothing wrong with you. You are born that way, and you are going to slay that way. And come, find a place in All I Called where you can serve. You can be on a community group. You can be a volunteer. You can get involved in any of our activities. Come, find a home. Join All I Called.
Thank you, Lorraine. Nomzamo, something from your side?
For me, I joined All Are Called because I loved the fact that it's something out there that's never been done before. I mean, how many of you listening today have heard of like an LGBTQ Christian community that you can join? And I mean, personally, a lot of people, again, a lot of you that are listening today have probably, I mean, obviously different ages, different walks of life, but I'm just speaking for myself. A lot of us have been looking for something like this. So for the fact that there is something like this today, obviously I was so ready and so willing to jump and be a part of it. And I'm here because I just felt like deeply inside of me, All Our Called was just something that was calling me to join. And it was just something that not just like me personally, but also just something that God was telling me to join. And I mean, by God's grace, I had the opportunity to be part of the team, and I have the honor of being a volunteer. And yeah, now I'm part of this podcast, and it's just, yeah, it's something amazing. And I just can't wait to see all the growth and beauty that like All Our Called is going to do. And I just hope that like when people listen to this podcast or just join All Our Called as a community, they just feel some sense of belonging and just feel like they have a home that they can be a part of, you know, because that's what we're trying to do here. You know, we're trying to just create a community and a sense of belonging for people that they usually don't get out there. So yeah.
Thank you, Nonzamu. Thank you so much. All Are Called. It started out as a blog post that I was just kind of sharing my thoughts online, writing them down. And from there, it just kind of slowly spilled over into social media, and then thought, oh, well, we're getting some followers now. Maybe we can have some groups where we can meet up. That grew, and it's like, okay, I cannot do this by myself, so I need some volunteers, and some volunteers signed up. And so it was really just step by step, God growing this movement. And so when I started putting up blog posts online, I never knew what this could grow into. And so I'm excited to see us move forward. I'm excited to see new growth. I'm excited about this new podcast initiative. And I just think that there's just so many amazing things ahead for All Our Called. Thinking back of when I came out, at that stage, like I said earlier, it was kind of like going off a cliff. I had to change careers because I was a full-time missionary at that stage. I had to make new friends because I basically lost all my friends. Well, they would call themselves strong Christians, but just had a lot of hate for the LGBTQ plus community. And so it felt like I needed to go and rebuild everything from scratch. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who come out and who experience very much the same, even a lot worse than I experienced. And so the heart behind All Are Called is to make that journey just a little bit easier, that you don't need to go and search that far for the answers that you have to all of the difficult questions that you are wrestling with, so that you don't have to go and search that far for new friends who accept you as you are, and who do not judge you, who do not reject you, who do not come against you with all kinds of biblical arguments that they say is done in love, but feels very aggressive and very hateful. And so hopefully, like you guys said, hopefully All Are Called can be a place where people can come and be at home and find chosen family where they can just truly be themselves and just be accepted for who they are.
Has been a good introduction, a good introductory. I'm really excited about what's to come and the conversations we're going to get into. So I think from my side, I don't have any more questions, but I do just want to encourage everyone that is watching right now this is a safe space. Here is a safe space for you. We are here for you. We are here to help or guide in any way which we can, or even we're here to take guidance as well and criticism. So please, you're more than welcome to please go to the below the comment section and comment on whatever topics you guys would like us to discuss. Comment on whatever we are discussing, and also drop us a like and follow on the socials, and we'll be sure to connect with you on the socials as well. We release loads of videos, loads of content, loads of information which could be helpful to someone or just there for an interesting read. So follow us on all the socials. We are on X, Insta, Facebook, everywhere. So you'll find us there and now here as well. So looking forward to chatting to all of you very, very soon.
Just to add on what Morgan just said, also, I just feel like people shouldn't be scared of asking controversial questions as well. I mean, we are a controversial group, so I know that a lot of people do have a lot of questions. You know, is it possible to be part of the LGBTQ plus community and also be Christian? Is it, you know, and obviously from that also, there's like a lot of questions to have as well to ask. So I really do encourage a lot of people to ask the questions. And I mean, there's so many questions that a lot of people just want to ask, just in general, about their faith and about their journey and about their walk. And I mean, like Morgan said, this is a safe space. So we just want people to listen and feel that they can connect here and be able to get those questions answered for them. So yeah.
Doreen, do you have any last comments, last thoughts that you want to share?
No, I just wanted to tell our listeners that you are not forgotten, you are not alone. We are with you and we want to walk this journey with you. As my co-host says, it's a safe space. So looking forward to all the interaction on our social medias, as my co-host Morgan has mentioned earlier on. So don't be afraid, jump on the socials and get engaged with us. And until next time.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone who listened to us, who listened to this first soft launch episode. It is really our privilege to come to you and to share what God has done in our lives, in our hearts, and we hope that this will be a really encouraging space for everyone who's listening, and that you'd be willing to take a step further, even join our All Are Called community, join some of our community groups, join us on social medias, join us for the social events that we have. This really is a warm and embracing and loving community, and we're just excited to see it grow and to have you guys as a part of it. And so, yeah, hope that you all are blessed. And please join us for our official launch episode when we launch episode 1 on 6 March. Please keep an eye out for that. We cannot wait to hear your feedback, to hear your comments. Please drop them below, like Morgan said.